people can start joining in. I apologize that I'm a little bit late, you guys. I know it's 6:04 now. I said I'd be here at 6. We are running a little behind. There's some funky things going on, some groovy things, as you can tell from the creeper mustache. We'll get into all that. Let me see. You know what? I might even do... Let me do one of these babies. All right, what is going on, everybody? Let me know if you can see me and hear me. My system's a little bit messed up right now, so it doesn't show me that anybody is watching this. I see a couple comments, though, so I'm sure that people are here. Welcome, everybody. Wish I could find out where to start without having to pay for a package of lessons. You just start in the units. All right, so welcome, everybody. We try to do these Sunday night lives as we can. Can see and hear you. Sweet, thanks, Chris. We try to do these Sunday night lives when we can. I just basically come on here and I chat with you guys. I answer questions that you're having, issues that you're having. I'll bring usually maybe 4 or 5 different topics that I think are pertinent that people should know. And then basically the rest of the time is just me and you just chit-chatting and doing some Q&A stuff. All right, so welcome, everybody. Now, I look a little bit like a creeper right now. I fully acknowledge that. My wife and I, well, my family, we bought a new house. That's a real like 70s retro house that we're fixing up, and we're making some content about that. It's going to be separate from Hustle Buddies. But if you're interested in checking that out, my wife just started it's called The Jackson 5. It's over on Instagram. We'll have a YouTube channel, all that stuff. So that's sort of like my wife's new little pet project, talking about how we're gaining financial freedom, talking about how we're flipping this, or we're not really flipping it because we're not reselling it, but how we're renovating this real groovy house. You can see some fun pictures over there, but it's a groovy house from the 70s. So we did a whole photo shoot, and I've been shooting some videos and stuff, which is why I still have the mustache, much to Alicia's chagrin. I think I'm only going to be able to keep this about another 24 hours. And then the creeper stash will be gone. Awesome. Hey, what's up, guys, from Vancouver? All right, sweet. All right, so yeah, I've got a couple things that I'll be going through tonight, 4 or 5 things. And then there was a ton of great questions on Facebook. I posted this morning that I'm going to be doing this Facebook Live, and I asked for just some like preliminary questions that I could knock out while we're sort of waiting. And I got some great ones. So I do want to go through a couple of those that I saw that were really, really good. But yeah, first, let me go through a few of my things. Oh, and let me push this graphic. Hang on a second. It's been so long since I've done this. Stuff is messing up. Yeah, so that's the link if you guys want to check out my wife's new Instagram where we're documenting our journey, reaching FI and refinishing this house and all that stuff. It's not at all related to Amazon, but if you like us and you're interested in that kind of stuff, check it out. All right, so a couple things that I think are time sensitive right now. So first is Christmas clearance stuff, Christmas candy, Christmas trees, Christmas ornaments, Christmas everything. We've seen a ton of questions like, hey, do you guys buy this stuff? Do you buy it now and then wait 10, 11 months and sell it next year? Do you like, what do you do? And there's a couple things here. First, unless you know exactly what you're doing and you have a very specific reason why you're doing it, I pretty much never recommend someone to buy something now and then save it for 11 months to sell it later. You can just turn your money over so many more times by doing smaller flips. Now it's going to look really great. So I'll use a Christmas tree, let's say, for example. Let's say you buy a Christmas tree and it's like 90% off. You pay $10 for it, and next November you can sell it for 100. All right, let's just pretend that fees don't exist, just for easy math. So you buy it now for 10, you sell it later for 100. That's $90 that you just made. You're like, oh my gosh, I just like 9x'd my money. That's crazy. And that is great. But you'll need the storage space for it. You'll need to know like for sure that Christmas tree is going to sell next year, all that stuff. And it's usually significantly easier to get like the candy, get the socks, get whatever other like daily use items and flip that every month. Like if you turn $1 into $2, but you do that every single month, well, the second month it's 2 into 4, and then 4 into 8, and then 8 into 16, and so on and so on and so on. You'll actually end up with significantly more money doing those small, easy, fast flips than you will buying something now and then getting 9 times your return 11 months from now. That's just how the math works out. Now, if you know what you're doing, if you have the warehouse space and you're sort of set up for storing things like that, it absolutely can be viable. But because we have so many beginners in Hustle Buddies, I don't really want to recommend that because it's sort of a different ball game that you have to know exactly what you're doing going into that. Now, what I will say is that doesn't really apply to consumable things. So all that Christmas candy, all that hot chocolate, all those like the hot chocolate bombs that have been crazy this year, it doesn't really apply to that stuff because people buy that year round. If I want candy canes in April or May, where am I going to go? I can't really buy candy canes at Walmart. I'm going to go onto Amazon and see, oh, you know what? It's only $13. Yeah, sure. What the heck? Like that customer doesn't know that the person selling it just paid like 50 cents because it was half off or 90% off. All right. So go out there, get the Christmas candy. I definitely recommend checking Keepa on all that stuff. If you guys aren't using Keepa, you gotta check yourself. You gotta be using Keepa on this stuff because that's how you know what is selling. And you can see historically, what did it do last year? So check last year, check the December, January charts. See, okay, is this still selling? Does the price tank a lot? If you can see like, okay, let's say you get candy canes. Obviously, candy canes have been doing really well during December. They're not going to do as good in January, February. They will still sell, but they just won't do as good. Then you want to look at like, okay, how many are selling? Give like a decent guesstimate. How many sellers are on that listing? And last year, what did that look like? Like the number of sellers, was it like 100 sellers and then the price just kept tanking until it was below profitability? If so, I would probably say pass on that or be ready to hold that until like June, July when people are doing Christmas and July events. So yeah, you can sort of do it both ways, but a lot of that consumable stuff is still going to be really, really good. So if there's any left at your Walmart, I know people just cleared out Walmarts immediately. Like the next day, I hardly saw anything at my stores. But yeah, if you guys are going to Walmarts and you see Christmas candy, hot chocolate, all that stuff that's like 50, 70, 80, 90% off, definitely take a look at it. It could be worth your time. There's some stuff I would say, yeah, probably not like, what's a good example? Ornaments, for example. Yeah, sure, you might sell an ornament in June. They just don't sell as often, and you'll really want to be careful and really check Keepa to make sure that what you're buying is actually going to be a good buy. Okay. All right, so yeah, that's the Christmas stuff. I think it's good, but check keep it. That's basically sums up what I think about all that. Okay, the next thing on my list was taxes. Okay. For taxes, now I need to figure out a way how to download this and re-upload it to YouTube. Last year, we did an interview inside of our Facebook group. And if you're not a part of that, it's facebook.com/group/housebuddies. In our Facebook group, we did an interview with a guy from, his name's Mark. He's from notyourdadscpa.com. Do a search in our main Facebook group for Not Your Dad's CPA. And watch that video interview. I'm going to try to pull it up and re-upload it to YouTube. And we're going to be doing more tax videos, but there's so much involved with your taxes. Be on top of that. Be ready to do those reports. There are some end of year reports that you're going to want to file with Amazon. As far as like your inventory and all of that stuff, we're going to be doing some more YouTube videos showing you guys how to do that. But just so you're aware, so you can sort of preemptively be thinking about these things, you're going to have to be looking at taxes. You're going to have to be looking at those end of year reports and getting those records for you and your CPA. If you're not using a CPA, again, check yourself. Unfortunately, that's another one of those harsh truths. When I hear business owners say that they do their own taxes, I pretty much always question their sanity because it just doesn't make sense. A CPA, if they're, you don't even need a good CPA. If they're just a moderate CPA, they will save a business owner more money than they cost. Now, there's a few assumptions here. I saw someone post like, oh, what if I'm only making like 500 this year? Okay, well then don't use a CPA. That's you're not even really paying the IRS much in taxes anyways. Or I'm talking about like actual, you have this business and it's running. Okay, if you have this business and it's running and you don't have a CPA and you're doing taxes yourself, you will absolutely save money getting a CPA and having them do your taxes for you. Okay, even if they don't save you money, the amount of time that they will save you is worth more than the money that you're paying them. A CPA, let's just say on average it costs like $500. Okay, let's say it takes you 2 or 3 hours to do your taxes. In 2 or 3 hours of sourcing at Walmart, again, this is assuming that like you actually have an Amazon business that's established. In 2 or 3 hours of sourcing at Walmart, can you find one replen that gets you, I don't know, $20 a month or something for the next 12 months? Okay, well, some simple math. Okay, that's like, what is that, $440? That's about breaking even. And that's like a crappy replen. $20 per month, that's terrible, okay? So this is like, if you really suck at what you're doing and you find a really sucky thing, you're still breaking even with hiring that CPA. And instead of doing your own taxes for 2 or 3 hours, you're going to Walmart for 2 or 3 hours, all right? Yeah. Plus, yeah, Denise was saying the CPA fees are deductible themselves. So you're not even paying like the full 500. It's like whatever your taxes are. Was that like, let's say your taxes are 30%. So you're paying 30% less than 500. All right. So it's a no brainer. Get a CPA if you're doing this at any sort of moderate volume level, and be ready for all that stuff. Right around the corner, the next topic is Q1. So we're finishing up Q4. It has been crazy. It's been amazing. A lot of people made a lot of money. I sound like that one YouTube ad. I don't know if you see him. He's got the mustache that like curls around. Don't get his stuff. It's garbage. But I've seen a lot of people making a lot of money on Amazon. It just pops into my head. So yeah, we've seen a ton of people making a lot of money here in Q4 because it's been crazy. And a lot of people tend to like scale back, or they're not really sure like, oh, Q1 is going to slow down. But you can absolutely continue these sales through Q1. Historically, for like the past 4 years, January has actually always been our biggest month. Always. Every single year, it's been our biggest month. A couple reasons for that. We mostly have been selling clothing in the past. Now we're shifting a little bit going into the future. But yeah, Bashar or Bashar or whatever. I don't know what his name is. He has a bad private label course. It's not great. Anyways. Yeah, so we mostly sell clothing, and that's the kind of thing that you usually are buying for yourself. I say this in a lot of our stuff, like, I'm not going to buy my sister a bra for Christmas, but I might get my sister an Amazon gift card, and then come January 2nd, January 3rd, January 4th, my sister's going to go to Amazon, spend the gift card, buying herself that bra. Okay, so it's like those normal everyday items that like maybe, you know, I'm not really gonna buy someone socks or pants or this bra or whatever for Christmas, but those gift cards, they're used for clothing all the time. So clothing is huge in Q1. I really, really like sort of transitioning into clothing during that time. I think it's really good. I think it's also gonna be a really good chance for people to focus on finding some more replens because, so let's say most of what you've been doing is toys, okay? And toys will continue to sell during Q1, but not as much. It's going to be a little bit of a letdown. You're going to start getting returns and stuff like that. So you might get a little bit discouraged. But what you could do during that same time is, okay, let's focus on getting like 2021, like all of our ducks in a row. So you've got your account all set up. Maybe you're not an LLC yet. It's like, all right, let me set up this LLC, or maybe you're already an LLC, but you're like, you know what? I should really be starting to like tax myself as an S corp. So like maybe you're doing those things, or I need a business bank account. So you're setting up all of those things, or you're getting your tax exempt stuff. All of that stuff you can get ahead of time. You can find wholesalers ahead of time. All those things where it's like, you know, there's a lull in my sales, but that doesn't mean there has to be a lull in my business. You can do all of those things that you've been putting to the side because, I mean, let's be real. Q4 has been ridiculous. Like the past month, for anyone who's been doing merchant fulfilled stuff, that's probably all you've been doing. That's all you've had time for. Like 50, 100, 200, 500 packages per day that you're trying to ship out your door. Okay, it's been crazy, and you probably haven't had time for anything else. So that's what Q1 can be used for. All those things that you've been putting off. Whether that's business stuff, getting ducks in a row, whether that's getting wholesale accounts, whether that's finding bundles, finding replens, it's a great time to do that. Taking like educational classes, things like that. And I'm not even talking about our own stuff, just in general, like taking classes from people to further your own knowledge of Amazon and knowledge of business is awesome. And there's lots of stuff out there, and not even so like, I'm not talking about myself. I'm not even just talking about Amazon stuff. Like you could take a tax course. You could take a business entrepreneur course. Like there's so many things out there that have good information that I think it's useful. Okay. All right. So that's Q1. We talked about Instagram. For those of you joining, wondering why Nate has this hideous mustache on his face, it's because we bought like a house from the 70s, straight from the 70s, still got the purple shag carpet. We did a whole photo shoot, and I've been doing some content with my mustache. It'll be gone shortly, but in case you're curious. And that's also what that little link is down below, the Instagram, the Jackson Phi. That's where you can follow that journey. It's my wife's little baby project. All right. Oh, and then the final little announcement thing, and then I'll start getting into some Q&A stuff with you guys, was we have 5, I believe, days left of December. And this, our replen workshop that we've been holding, I mean, we came out with it about a month and a half ago, I think. It's been crazy. We've never gotten, like all of our stuff people give us positive reviews about. We haven't gotten anything close to as much positive feedback about like a class or a workshop or some sort of content we put out than this replen workshop. The reason I'm talking about it now is because come January 1st, the price is going up a lot. Basically, we put this iteration together because we didn't really know. I kind of threw it together last minute. I had a thought like, you know, I should do something about replens, maybe make it a workshop, have it more interactive than my other classes. So I told Alicia, she's like, okay, yeah, do it. And like 3 days later, we put it on. So it's sort of like this beta testing. I got people in, tested it out. And that's sort of what you guys are doing now and giving me feedback. Here's what we want next time and all that stuff. We will be holding this again, like a live workshop in 2021, probably in February-ish. It's going to be substantially larger, more robust, more professional. Hopefully we iron out some of the kinks from this first one. But with all that said, this first iteration, we're like, you know, let's just give it to people pretty cheaply compared to what it will be, and they can sort of help us test it out. So if you're interested in grabbing that now, grab it now. You will be grandfathered into all of the future iterations. So when it gets bigger, when it gets more robust, you're still going to be in it. All right. So you guys get to carry that over. Okay. That was all of my big announcements. Let me real fast, I'm going to pop over to the main Hustle Buddies Facebook group. And there were a couple really good questions that I was seeing this morning. And as you guys, as I'm going through these, start posting your own questions or comments or things like that in the comment section of this video. And I will try to get to it. Let me see. Where is my post? There it is. Okay. Goodness, there's 77 comments. Sorry, guys, I can't get through all of these questions. I'm going to try to pick and choose. There was a couple that I really liked. Yeah. Okay. So Jeff Tingley was the first one. Had a great question. He said, when you're doing like FBA stuff, how long does inventory at FBA start to get close to being considered too long to be on hand? So there's sort of two different breaking points, Jeff. Ideally, you want your stuff to sell within 90 days. That actually drastically affects your IPI score. If you guys are worried about your IPI score, selling stuff prior to 90 days is going to positively affect your IPI. Selling it after 90 days is going to negatively affect your IPI. And by the way, for those of you guys who are curious, in Q1, Amazon announced that your IPI score needs to be above 450 in order to have unlimited storage. If it's not over 450, you will still have a lot of storage. It just won't be unlimited. Okay, it's not the end of the world, but try to get above 450 if you can. Okay, so I would say, Jeff, try to sell stuff within 90 days. If it goes longer than that, it's not terrible. And we've got lots of long tail stuff. Again, like we sell a lot of clothing. Clothing, for the most part, it's a long tail item. Those aren't fast flips. With stuff like clothing, I'm usually okay sitting on it for 11 months. Now, I know I said earlier, like, don't plan on selling something 11 months down the road, and I don't plan on that. But if it does happen, I'm not pulling my hair out, okay? If I sell it in 11 months, fine. The reason I don't like 12 months is because that's when your long-term storage fees start kicking in, and I don't really want to pay those. So at about 11 months is when I will like bottom out my prices and kind of liquidate stuff just to get it out. And get that money back. Even if I'm losing some money, at least I'm not losing all of the money. Because if it doesn't sell at all, well, you made $0. If I sell it for a loss, you're not actually making negative money. You're still making some, if that sort of makes sense. That's how the math works out. Let's see. Someone was asking about hazmat and dangerous goods program. Yeah, you just sign up. You check the boxes. You go through the little training things. You say you're interested in joining it, and then you join it. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to that. Let's see. Yeah, someone else was asking. Sorry if you hear my kids yelling in the background. Yes, holiday candy is going to be really good. Make sure you're checking Keepa. How do you handle returns in Inventory Lab if you can resell the product? Hang on one second. All right, so with Inventory Lab, if you get a product back and it's completely sellable, my understanding of how Inventory Lab works is you can just relist that. You would re-put in your cost of goods again. You wouldn't put $0. I used to do that, but I think I was wrong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I was wrong about putting 0 as your cost of goods for relisting something that you get back. So put your cost of goods in again. I believe that is the correct way to handle that accounting-wise. Oh, and that reminds me, speaking of Inventory Lab and accounting, Sherry, one of our mods, told me something very interesting. So we did a video a couple weeks ago about how to sell in Canada and Mexico, which, by the way, you should all be doing. One really interesting, weird downside, something that I missed in the video that I was unaware of. Inventory Lab does not track those sales. So I'm going to have to figure out a good way for tracking those. Maybe I'll talk to Sherry, see what she's doing. Yeah, I had no idea that Inventory Lab wasn't tracking the sales. I was just like, set it and forget it. I'm good to go. Unfortunately, it's not quite that simple. And Inventory Lab, it shows discrepancies because Amazon will sell your product to Canada, for example. Inventory Lab doesn't record that sale. So they're like, hey, you sent 10 in, but now you only have 9. So what happened? So it confuses Inventory Lab for some reason. I don't know, maybe we can start, maybe if all of us open a ticket with Inventory Labs, like, hey, you need to fix this. Maybe that'll kick them in the butt and make them fix that. But for now, you got to manually record that. All right. Sales tax and tax jar, maybe too much for a Q&A, but any advice to discuss would be great. So sales tax is super simple, Brian. It's my sister-in-law.
Well,
oh, that's not my sister-in-law. That's my wife. Whoopsies. Sorry, I thought you were Catherine.
No, I'm getting somebody here.
All right, so sales tax stuff, you should be collecting sales tax for whatever state that you are in. TaxJar is going to tell you that you need to collect sales tax for every state, and that's not true. They'll probably also throw some things that you call tax nexus and keywords like that. There is some debate about this. I would say the vast majority of people and the cases that I have read don't really hold up as far as like tax nexus. So if you see people talking about taxable nexuses and stuff like that, personally, I've been down that road. I've looked at it. I've read everything. I wasn't a fan. So if you see those words, personally, I would say steer clear, but that's just what I do. I might be doing it wrong, but my accountant is good with that, and most accountants are good with that as well. Collect it for your own state. And to be honest, like 45 of the states or something are collecting it for you anyways, Brian. So you probably don't even have to do that. You just have to register and then submit that you're paying $0 in taxes because Amazon's doing it for you. I have to in Florida, so I actually use Avalara. It's the same thing as TaxJar, but I only use it for Florida. Rob, are you keeping the purple carpet? No. Do you want me to mail you 50-year-old purple carpet from a bathroom that's been in a bathroom for 50 years, Rob? No? Okay. I didn't think so. Let's see. How do you get around ungating without a brick and mortar store? Sarah asks, if you want to get ungated in something, you just get ungated. You find an invoice for it. We've done videos on YouTube for how to get ungated specific to grocery. Like we laid out the whole process step by step. Specific to grocery, showed you a website, showed you how to do that. You just repeat that exact same process with anything else. All ungating is pretty much the same. You find a wholesaler or a distributor, you get an invoice, you get ungated. It's not too difficult. There are some brands that are definitely hard to find. And sometimes there's other things involved, like they'll ask for like an FDA registration or a CPS something, C something. I forget the other acronyms, but they'll ask you for some other things. Let's see. How to increase sales if you aren't ungated in grocery or anything but some toys. There's so much. 70% of what I sell is not gated for anybody. So I've got two answers for you, Rhonda. One, there's plenty of stuff out there for you that's not gated. Look at clothing, look at Kohl's, look at bras. That's why we talk so much about like clothing and bras and Kohl's and stuff like that. It's a very easy place for people to start. Same with books. Pretty much none of that stuff is gated. Yeah, sure, there's a few, like maybe you can't sell Bali or maybe you can't sell like a Nike sports bra or something, but for the most part, it's all ungated for you. So clothing is very easy, and there's plenty of stuff out there for you that you can sell. Secondly, if you're like, okay, how do I increase sales, but I'm not ungated in grocery? Just get ungated in grocery. It should take you like 15 minutes and cost you maybe 20 bucks. Watch our video. We've got a video on our YouTube channel about how to do that. So head over there, check out that video on our YouTube channel and get yourself ungated in grocery instead of trying to like work around that. I usually don't recommend people to like get ungated in a bunch of different things. I think people sort of get caught in that, but things like grocery, like large categories like that, they're worth your time to get ungated in. Let's see. Yeah, there's some awesome questions. Nathan Jorgensen, as an individual account, is there a good way to get ungated? No. Officially, there is no way that an individual account can get ungated. Unofficially, sure, you might get lucky. But Amazon's page where it's like, what is the difference between a professional and an individual? And where like Amazon breaks down everything, Nathan, one of those line items is, can you get ungated? One box says yes, one box says no. So an individual account cannot officially get ungated and stuff. If you're taking this seriously, if you're at a level where you're like, man, I need to start getting ungated and stuff, you need to get a professional account, because I'm going to guess that you're selling more than 40 items per month. And if you're selling more than 40 items per month, it's costing you more money to not have the professional account. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Let's see. There's great ones, but I'm kind of skipping over some of these so I can get to some of the live questions, because I know you guys have been asking some good ones in there. Yeah, there's a ton of great ones. Man, I need to do some more like keep it examples as well. Okay, so let me jump back over to the live chat, and we will start cranking through some of your guys' Q&A. So if you guys have issues that you're dealing with right now, I am here for you guys to help you out. I'm here to answer your questions, to chat about whatever you need. All right. Let's see. at the same place. Not sure what to focus on, replens or finding other things, or if that even matters. Yes. So, Jacqueline, you can focus on. You don't need to be like, okay, I'm just gonna find replens. I'm just gonna find groceries, or I'm just gonna find toys. Like, I think that that's kind of limiting. Cast a wide net, see what you catch, and then fish more in those areas. Okay, so go to Walmart, go to Target, go to Big Lots, go to whatever other local stores you have, and look for toys, look for clothes, go to Kohl's, look for clothes, look for home items, look for kitchen items, look for baby stuff, look for whatever. Figure out what you are gated in. So then you start eliminating stuff like, all right, well, I'm gated in baby topicals, so I'm never going to scan another baby topical thing. And you know what? I'm gated in regular topicals too, so I'm not going to scan those aisles. But I'm ungated in household goods. Okay, so let me focus on this. Let me see, go to Walmart. Maybe I can find some Pioneer Woman stuff, all right? So go to those stores and figure out what you are blocked in. Figure out all the stuff where it's like, no, so that you stop wasting your time on that. And then you can narrow in and focus on, here's what I can sell and here's what I can do. Now, I do recommend get ungated in grocery and probably topicals. They're pretty simple and it opens up a lot of stuff, but you don't have to. It's not at all required. A lot of what we sell is completely ungated for everybody. Yeah. Someone was asking if the Replants class is good for Canadians. Yeah. The specific examples in it won't apply. So like if I say, hey, you could go to I don't know, Walmart and buy this thing, you might not have that exact thing in your stores, okay? But the same concepts, like how we're doing what we're doing, is 100% crossover. We've had a lot of Canadians take it and like it. Yeah, Replant is fire. Replant is great. Awesome. Thanks, guys. What are some big end of year purchases to get in before January 1st? Good tax write-offs. Make sure you have all your tools. Like I'm assuming that you have your Rolo, you have your scanners, all that stuff. Another nice one that I really liked, we've got a Fujitsu scan snap for our receipts. We have a link for it, like over in our the tools we use video. I have a link for that scan snap. But we really like it because it just cranks through our receipts really, really fast. And it comes with OCR software so that it turns like a picture of your receipt, scannable letters and numbers. And the reason why I like that, the reason why I like OCR, the optical character recognition, is because if I ever get an IP complaint and Amazon's like, hey, prove that this is authentic or prove that you bought this new or whatever it is, I can find the UPC through Amazon. And then I just go to my computer, I open up the search bar on my computer, and I just type in what that UPC is. And my computer will search every document on my computer for a document that holds that exact line of numbers and letters. And because it's been pulled in through OCR, my computer recognizes those. So usually, like when I get an IP complaint about something, it takes me maybe a minute to find the product. Usually faster, but about a minute or so to find the exact receipt, the exact item. Boom, there's highlighted. My computer just finds it for me. So yeah, Fujitsu Scan Snap is nice. And it sort of depends on your level. Like if you've got a warehouse, you can look at like industrial scales or forklifts or pallet jacks, things like that. I don't know what scale you're at. If you're working from your house, stock up on polybags, stock up on boxes, stock up on stickers and labels, all that stuff. It's like, I need more tape. Get like 6 months supply of tape if you need to get more stuff to write off. Yeah, Andre's replanner was amazing. Totally worth it. Sweet. Yeah, we literally have not had, and this is a weird flex, we've literally not had a single person refund this class. Our other courses, there'd be a few. I mean, it's uncommon someone like refunded something because they didn't like it or didn't learn something. Not a single one. And we have had hundreds of people in this workshop. So we're pretty proud of that. Maybe tomorrow we'll get a refund, our first refund for it, but yeah, we'll see. The refund workshop I talked about earlier, it's on our website. If you go to hustlebuddiesofficial.com, or if you go to this link right there, that's the full link. So it's hustlebuddies.com/courses/the-replan-workshop-1. But if you just go to Hustle Buddies Official, you can see like up at the top where it says all classes. It'll be in there. Yes, that was my wife walking by, not my sister-in-law. Yeah, it's super frustrating. That inventory lab like doesn't support the Canadian marketplace, I don't understand why that's not like a higher priority. And that seems like it should just be a few buttons. Like it's functionally the same. Everything is the same. It's just .ca instead of .com. So yeah, maybe if everyone here just starts like writing little nasty grams to Inventory Lab, hey, you need to get your butt into action, start working in Canada. Because then I would guess that like Scoutify and all that stuff would work for Canadians, and they would start recording your Canadian sales as well. I'm pretty sure those two issues are probably linked. You get FDA for ungating. You can, back in my day, in order to get ungated in grocery, you had to, like the biggest workaround was at it actually getting FDA registered as like a food storage or a food prep facility, which I did. So like my old apartment is an official food, like FDA registered official food preparation facility. It was just like a little 2-bedroom apartment. You no longer need to do that for grocery. You just get your invoice. So I don't think you need to do the FDA stuff anymore. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you have to do that anymore. That is pretty rare, Ashley. So to get ungated, Amazon says you either need an invoice or you need a letter from the brand to give you permission. Brands don't really have a reason to give you permission. It doesn't benefit them. It's sort of a waste of their time. It's a waste of their energy, a waste of their resources. And it probably is counterproductive to what they want, because they probably don't really, I mean, they might not want you, but they don't want you. Like it serves them no benefit for you being a third-party seller on Amazon. So that is very rare unless you have like a big wholesale contract. That's really the only time where you would get one of those, if you have like an exclusivity contract with a wholesale distributor or something like that, or manufacturer. Other than that, you just get the invoice. It's a much easier path to go down. Yeah, we talked about this right at the beginning of the video. Should you be still looking for Christmas candy? Does it sell after Christmas? Abso-freaking-lutely. Check Keepa just to double check everything. Do your due diligence, but absolutely, Christmas candy sells year round. I mean, we were selling Halloween candy 10 months. Like we did a video last year on Halloween where we like filled our entire Jeep with Halloween candy. I was selling that for like the next 10 months. I mean, June, July, August, it didn't matter what month it was. I was selling January, February, March. I was selling Halloween candy. Same thing with Christmas candy, even more so with Christmas candy. Amazon will tell you exactly what they want. If they want an image, they will tell you that they want an image. If they don't want an image, they won't tell you that they want an image. So you don't need to guess. You don't need to like figure that out ahead of time. You just need to listen to Amazon and do exactly what they tell. I think it's a mistake a lot of people make, is they try to like do all this research up front when it's just like, just listen to Amazon. Amazon tells you exactly what they want. Just give Amazon exactly what they want. It's as simple as that. It's like there's a lot of people who overthink it, or it's like, oh, I need this, I need to pre-get this, I need to get that. No, just go through the steps, wait for Amazon to tell you what they need, and then give them exactly what they need. Yeah, Logan, I've been meaning to do, maybe I'll start doing that as like part of our Sunday Night Live. Like instead of doing so many topics, instead of like 5 topics, maybe do 2 or 3 things, and then do like a Keepa breakdown of a Keepa chart. Something like that. I think I might start doing in 2021. Definitely a good idea. Something I've thought about. So Josh, something that sort of does this a little bit that I use, it's called Seller Locker. I'm sure I've got an affiliate link for it somewhere, but it doesn't really matter. It's Seller Locker. Keeps track of some of that. Mostly it's like fee changes. Honestly though, like that's a really difficult thing to track. And I don't have a perfect solution for it. Seller Locker is like an okay solution. It's a great solution for some other things as far as like fees and getting other stuff. And it sort of does a little bit of what you're talking about, Josh. It doesn't do a fantastic job. And I don't personally know of any tool that does a fantastic job. So if any of you guys are listening to this and you're like, oh, I use something that perfectly handles that, let me know, because I haven't heard of one yet. As of now, it's just one of those annoying things that we all deal with where it's like, oh, the listing changed. Oh, shoot, I got to refund like 10 people and then I got to take mine out. Yeah, it's so stupid how that works on Amazon, how just like randomly a random person can change like a 1-pack to a 10-pack or a 10-pack to a 1-pack. It's stupid. I don't know why it's set up like that, but it is. Nathan, how many sellers on an item is too many? There is no such thing for me. I will look at Keepa. Look at Keepa to see if there are spikes. So if there's a big spike, so an example of this, let's say you go to Target and Target has buy 2, get 1 free for board games, which that's a pretty famous sale. A lot of people historically have made good money with that. But if you check out that sale and it's like buy 2, get 1 free, and you see the number of sellers and it's like, okay, so historically this, I don't know, Settlers of Catan, it's like 15 sellers, 15 sellers, 15 sellers, 20, 30, 50, 100 sellers. And like that happened in about a week's worth of time. That's when I would avoid it. It's not the amount of sellers, because if something's like 100 sellers, 100 sellers, 100 sellers, it doesn't matter to me. I'll jump on that. But if it's like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 100, I'm probably going to avoid that unless it's like a seasonal thing or like no one can keep it in stock or something like that. But for the most part, I am not looking at that metric. Another thing to note about that is, so let's say that there's 100 sellers on the product. Look at those 100 sellers. Are all 100 of those sellers all buy box eligible? Not a chance. Probably 5 to 10 of them are buy box eligible. Like as far as their pricing goes, there's probably 5 to 10 that are like $9.99. And then there's probably like 20 or 30 that are like $13.95. And then another 20 or 30 that are like $17.95. And another 20 or 30 that's like $22.95. So usually, even if there's a ton of sellers on it, you're really only competing with a couple of them. And then you can also start looking like, and this is another reason why that's so deceptive. Would you rather compete against 100 sellers with 1 unit each or 1 seller with 100 units? Well, the answer is it doesn't matter. That's exactly the same competition. So that's why I don't personally look at the number of sellers. The only time I pay any attention to that is when there's a spike. But it's not really a metric that I feel is worth your time looking into. What I would recommend is usually try to respond to everything, even if you're just kind of passing the blame downhill. Because it helps your metrics having a fast response time on those messages. Because you'll see in your dashboard like under the 24-hour marker, over the 24-hour mark. You want to make sure you respond to everything within 24 hours. Even if it's just to say, oh, I'm so sorry you had this negative experience. We're actually just the warehouse that stores that, and we don't handle the fulfillment for this. If you have issues with your fulfillment, please contact Amazon's direct support here at this number. And go to Google, get Amazon's direct customer support number. Boom, there you go. Do the work for them. And people are like, oh, wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Like we had someone the other day, I mean, they wanted a refund for something, like something didn't arrive. It's like, oh, I am so sorry. We actually don't handle that. Here's how you can handle that. And they gave us a 5-star review. They're like, even though this product arrived, it was broken or something. I don't remember what it was. But even though this product was terrible, like we just really appreciate you going out of your way to show us what to do. So here's a 5-star review. I know that'll help you. So it's like, whoa, sweet. That's awesome. So yeah, that's what I recommend for that. Can you get ungated in 2 categories with 1 item? Categories, no. Brands, yes. Why I say that is because an item cannot be listed in more than 1 category. So it won't work for that. But an item can be listed under more than 1 brand. So the example you gave, Lego and Star Wars, yes. You can use 1 item and 1 invoice for Lego and Star Wars. It's actually like it's a part of our Q4 class that we did. We showed people, hey, here's an exact item. This will get you toys. It'll get you Star Wars. It'll get you Lego. Like it'll get you Marvel. So yes, you can get 1 thing and use it for multiple gatings, not categories. I mean, I'm being a little bit technical here because it just can't be restricted for multiple. Like it can't be a toy and a grocery item. It's not possible. But it can be a toy and Star Wars and Marvel and Lego. So you can get those 4 things with one invoice, 1 item. So Jessica, how Amazon handles taxes is they will send you, I believe it's a 1099, if you sell over $20,000 worth of stuff. If you are selling under $20,000 worth of stuff, you can do with that what you want. But as far as like Amazon sending you tax documents and being all that, that happens at 20,000. I usually say it's not really worth waiting now. Granted, this is December 27th. Sure, wait 5 days because that doesn't make a big deal. But if you had asked me like 30 days ago at the beginning of December, hey, should I wait? No, this is Q4. Get in there, start selling stuff. But okay, yeah, if you haven't started yet, Jessica, sure, wait 6 days. It's not a big deal. Logan, do you have to submit proof of insurance to Amazon? As of right now, no. They have a space where you can submit it, but there's no like requirement that they require you to have it, but there's no requirement to prove it, if that makes sense. That might change in the future. I don't know. But if you're selling stuff that goes in your body or on your body, or if you're selling over $10,000 worth of stuff, you absolutely have to have it. If you have a professional account, it's sort of 50-50. There's on one page, Amazon says, if you're selling over $10,000, you need insurance. And another page says, if you have a professional account, you need insurance. Whichever page you read, you should probably be getting insurance anyways. Whether or not you have to get it, I think there's a little bit of debate there as far as how Amazon themselves explain it. But that's up to you. I think everyone should get it. Watched a lot of your videos, just saw you were live. Hey, welcome. Should I start off with clothing and bras, things like there? Sure, yeah, you can. Clothing is really easy to start with. Books are really easy to start with. Just like getting your feet wet, things that are pretty much ungated for everybody and fairly easy to get started with. I think those are easy places to get started and get your feet wet. Are they the best categories? No, there's no such thing as a best category. If it exists on Amazon, it's the best. Like you can sell $1 million of car parts, you can sell $1 million of bras, you can sell $1 million of canned beef. Okay, it doesn't really matter what you're selling. If you can make money, sell it. Those are good places to start because they're relatively easy and relatively ungated for people. But everything makes money. Netta, this is really sort of a personal, I don't think there's a right, there are some wrong answers here. For the most part, it comes down to you and your choices. If you have not been doing this for 6 to 12 months, absolutely no way. That's a ridiculous idea because you don't have proof of concept yet. You haven't made the mistakes yet. You haven't learned enough yet to know what you're doing if you haven't been at this 6 to 12 months. So you should never look into like leveraging debt and things like that. If you've been doing this 12 months and you're like, hey, I can get an interest-free credit card for the next 12 months. That'll give me like $10,000 of boost to my business. Yeah, if you know what you're doing, that can absolutely boost your business. Some people are against credit cards. That's great. Some people are for credit cards. That's great. Doesn't really matter. That's your personal choice. There's no like 100% correct, right or wrong thing. The only thing that I would argue is 100% wrong all of the time is starting your business with leveraged capital. I think that is insane because you don't know what you're doing yet. Like maybe this doesn't work. Maybe you hate this. Maybe you suck at this. So you don't want to start it like that. But once you have your feet under you, yeah, that's absolutely viable. Have you already gone over things for people brand new to this? Yeah, we've had our group for about 14 months and we've gone over lots of things for new people. If you are brand new to selling on Amazon and you're in our Facebook group, go to the units at the top of the Hustle Buddies Facebook group and go through every single one of the units. The units should teach you pretty much everything you need to know. We have like a beginner kickstart class if you want that. It's like $20. It's pretty cheap. It doesn't teach you anything that you cannot learn for yourself, but I know there's some people who like really want their hand held, like, okay, tell me, do A, then B, then C, then D. And it's like a follow along with me. Like I show you everything on my screen as I'm doing it. So if you need that kind of help, we've got something on our website. But again, you can learn all of that absolutely for free on your own if you want. I would recommend starting in the unit section of our Facebook group because all of that is free. What are your thoughts on profit first for Amazon sellers? I think it's great for some people. I think it's bad for other people. For me, I don't personally follow that. I'm not saying that it's incorrect. I think that there's a million ways to make $1 million, and I think there's a million right answers to a million different questions. Is that your right answer? It might be. Was it my right answer? It wasn't my right answer, but that doesn't mean it's not your right answer. I think that, yes, there are some absolute truths in the world. Is profit first what everyone should do? I don't think that's an absolute truth or an absolute falsity. Falsehood. Yeah, it's great for some people, not good for other people. Go ahead and read it and tell me what you think. All right. Dark Angel, I have Dark. That was like when I was a little kid, that was my favorite TV show. Did anybody else watch Dark Angel on TV? Man, I loved that show. I had such a big crush on Jessica Alba when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 10, or I don't remember when that show was out, but that was a great show. How do you get rid of bad inventory? You liquidate it. Like if it's been sitting at Amazon for like 11 months, you're like, oh, I don't want to pay long-term storage fees. Just bottom out your price. Get rid of that. If it's something like, let's say it's a return, or let's say you buy something and then you're restricted. It's like, what do I do now? Usually that goes into what we lovingly call our death piles. And then every once in a while, you sort of liquidate your death pile. You either sell it on eBay, you sell it locally, you can sell it to a liquidation company, you can do a garage sale. Those are all decent solutions for that. Once you find a new product on Keepa, how do you know where to buy them? I don't understand what you mean by finding a new product on Keepa. Maybe you can expound upon how you're sourcing, because that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not using Keepa to find products. I'm using Keepa to check products that I've found to see if they're selling. Spent an hour in Kohl's and was disappointed. Did not try bras or clothes. Well, there's your problem. Go to Kohl's and just check bras and clothing. Don't even check anything else. It's like that's like 95% of what I buy at Kohl's is bras and clothing. This is a deep question. Okay, in your mind, what separates a high figure seller from an average Amazon seller other than time and experience? I think a couple big things. The people who know how to roll with the punches and pivot. So like there's a lot of people who I've seen like, oh, I've been an Amazon seller for 10 years, but I need help and I need this, that, and the other thing. Like, well, they're probably not really putting a whole lot of time and effort into it. They're probably not learning from mistakes. They're probably not willing to make mistakes. Like maybe, so let's say 10 years from now, if I'm still selling bras from Kohl's 10 years from now, that's fine, but that shouldn't still be like 90% of my business or 70%, whatever it is. Like you always need to be changing and shifting and growing and adjusting and figuring out problems and solving those problems. The people who just sort of like get stuck in their rut, like, this works for me, I'm just going to keep doing this and I'm not going to bother changing. They're the ones that really get hit when a store shuts down or when a category gets gated or when there's some big change. So like this year, for example, the people who have only ever done FBA and were like, I'm never doing FBM. If they continued to not do any FBM in this year in 2020, they lost so much money, so much money. The sellers who were like, you know what, this is a pretty big change on Amazon. I need to pivot. I need to shift and I need to start learning FBM if I haven't done it, or I need to do more FBM if I'm familiar with it. Those are the sellers who exploded those. That's what differentiated that. Another thing is always identifying your bottlenecks. So like let's say you're selling 1,000 a month right now. Why aren't you selling 5,000 a month? Can you identify like one or two key things? Is it you're finding things, you just don't have enough budget to buy them all? Okay, so that's a budget. It's a funding problem, a capital problem. Figure out a solution for that. Is it, man, I just can't find anything. I just don't know where to look. Like I have money to spend, I just can't spend it. Okay, well that's a sourcing problem. Learn how to source better, or maybe find more replants, or try new stores. Like for every problem, there is a solution. So figure out what your bottleneck is as far as like why you're not growing to the next level, and then solve that, assuming that you want to grow to the next level. That's sort of a tangent of its own, but I see a lot of people who want to keep growing. Like they'll see someone's like, wow, this person sold $10 million this year. They have this 20,000 square foot warehouse. Wow, that's so crazy. I want to be just like them. That's so awesome. But is that your goal? Is that your why? Like for me, my why was I want to like stay at home with my kids and help raise them and have a family and all that stuff. And yeah, like I want enough money to live that lifestyle, but I don't need more money. I don't need to own like a 20,000, 50,000 square foot warehouse and do bajillions of dollars every year. Like I'm at the point that I want. And at this point, I'm just trying to figure out how can I remain at this point and just do less work and less work. And that's my why. I want to continue making the same amount, doing less work. Is that better or worse than the person that's like really grinding hard and doing like 10, 20, 30 million dollars a year? No, they have their why. I have my why. I don't need to compare myself to them. They don't need to compare themselves to me. We both have different purposes. All right, these are some good questions. I'm trying to find another one. Most of these I've already answered, sort of. So here's, for some reason, I'm struggling to find ungating items with good ROI. That's not probably really going to happen. You don't find ungating items with good ROI. You find ungating items or you find good ROI items. It's very rare that those two things coincide. You can spend some time looking for that, but most often you will be fortunate to be breaking even. Okay, so don't waste your time spending a bunch of time like, man, I gotta find good ROI, because if you find good ROI, that's a replen. Okay, and that is gold, because if you can buy it like wholesale and make, I don't know, 30, 50% ROI on it, but you can keep buying it every single week or every single month or whatever, like that's not 50% ROI. Like we'll lay out the numbers. And I talk about this some in like the replen workshop. It's not a singular unit. Don't think about it like, oh, I'll make $3 on this product. That's 50% ROI. That's good. No, it's not a $3 product. How many times per month does that sell? For how many months can you be selling this? Does that sell 10 times a month? Okay, then you're not making $3. You're making $30 per month. That's $360 per year. Okay, that's a fantastic return. Like that, how much time did that spend you to find? Like how much time did it take you to find that item to make $360 per year? Did it take you an hour? So you're making $360 per hour. Okay, it's mind-boggling when you have those replenishable things. That's why it's so rare to find an ungating item that also has good ROI, because those are just liquid gold. Like as soon as people find those, they will jump on them, and eventually the price will tank. That's just inevitable. Yeah, don't focus on that. How do we Floridians make sure the chocolate doesn't melt? You send it when it's chilly, like right now. I heard it was like getting down to like 40 in Orlando. So yeah, you send it right now. Amazon has times, I don't remember them off the top of my head, like October through April or something, that you can sell meltables. Outside of that, you're not allowed to. And in Florida specifically, I'm like November, December through like March. It's much smaller for me. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Whoever posted that. Probably Sherry. I'm guessing Sherry posts our links a lot of times for us. We really appreciate her. If it wasn't Sherry, we appreciate whoever you are as well. It doesn't tell me your name. But yeah, that's the link to Seller Locker. It helps us with a lot of those fee changes and catching money that Amazon owes us. And it's kind of free because they don't charge you a monthly fee. They only charge you what they charge you a percentage of what they make you. So if they don't make you anything, they don't charge you anything. If they make you some money, they'll just take a percentage of it, which is pretty sweet. How do you win the buy box? We've got a whole YouTube video all about winning the buy box. So if you go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/hustlebuddiesofficial, and you do a little search for buy box, or you look through all of our videos and just look for the keyword buy box, you'll see some stuff for all the different ways, like all the different algorithm things that go into winning the buy box. Yeah. Oh my goodness, watching me from 39,000 feet. That's pretty sweet. Getting sales dips each month. How can I keep up? You got to keep sending inventory. That's the biggest thing. That's usually when I see people like, oh, I'm having dips. They're not buying inventory. They're selling what they have and then they're not rebuying more. It's the phrase that everyone says, like, you got to feed the beast. You got to keep feeding the beast. Keep feeding the beast. Always be sending stuff in. The more you're sending in, the more you're selling. If you stop sending stuff in, you're not making stuff. make sure that you are logged in to Keepa when you click through that, or you can open a support ticket with them. As far as the issue with like Scoutify not working with your active Keepa account, you just log in. Yeah, that's a huge reason why we get Inventory Lab. Inventory Lab tracks taxes, sales, accounting, all that stuff. We've got, you get a free 30 days. I wonder if I have a link in the, I don't have a link hand. That's for Keepa. There we go. Yeah, so if you want to grab Inventory Lab, yeah, it does like your tax info, that profit and loss sheet that you want to hand your CPA at the end of the year, that all comes from Inventory Lab. So get Inventory Lab. It's huge. Keepa and Inventory Lab, like number one, number two services that everyone should be using. Those are the two. If you're like, I don't know where to spend my money, I don't know which tools to get those two tools first. As far as like subscriptions, those are absolutely crucial to this business. I just sold Christmas candy that I got on clearance since this started. Woohoo! That's awesome. Yeah, I love like when I'm in store listing something from the store for like FBM and then it sells before I even leave the store. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm grabbing all those. Let's see. Oversized stuff for FBA. Yeah, so oversized stuff will need like its own specific box, especially if it's over 50 pounds, it has to go by itself. So I wouldn't recommend putting your shipping label on the item itself because Amazon will ship that item to the customer like that, most likely. And now the customer is going to get something and it's going to show like your address. It's going to show like shipping it to Amazon. It's going to show that. And then it's going to show the shipping label, shipping it to them. I just think it looks bad. And I don't like it. It adds a little bit of like, oh, I didn't buy this from Amazon. I bought this from Nate. What's up with that? So I don't like to ship it in the box. There's also much higher chance of stuff getting damaged and wrecked and all that stuff. So I would recommend protecting it if you can. You can Frankenbox stuff because remember, Amazon doesn't care. Like the box that you send stuff in, it's just getting thrown away anyway. So it does not matter what that looks like. So get a couple other boxes and tape them together around it. Just we call that Frankenboxing. Cut sides, all that stuff, whatever you got to do. Just I personally, that's how I ship oversized stuff for FBA. I'll Frankenbox it if I have to. If you no longer have a receipt for something that you're selling, can you still sell them? Can you? Yes. May you? Yes. Should you? Probably not. Because it's not like Amazon doesn't ask you for the receipt for every single thing that you sell, but they will ask you if you get in trouble. So are you 100% sure that you're not going to get in trouble and you're not going to get a customer that's like, hey, this is used and you told me it was new, or hey, this is inauthentic, or hey, I'm the brand owner and we didn't authorize you to sell this. Okay. All of those issues that pop up, do they pop up every time? No. Are they rare? Yes. But if they do pop up, what are you going to do if you don't have a receipt? I usually tell people if you don't have the receipt anymore, don't sell it. That's the safest bet. Can you take risks? Sure. That is your prerogative. Yeah, this is a hard one. We've had a couple items like this. Like we were selling a ceiling fan for a while that was really bad because it always arrived broken to the customer because Amazon doesn't protect their stuff. Should you stop selling it? Maybe. I wouldn't plan on that being a long-term replen. 2 out of the 7 orders, that's pretty high. I mean, see if you get those 3 more, maybe those go through, but yeah, those aren't great. Usually I will avoid that unless there's like just an insane amount of profit on it. Or maybe I'll adjust, like maybe I'll start bubble wrapping something. But yeah. Talk about buying shipping from Amazon. We have so many YouTube videos about this. So like 3 or 4 different YouTube videos about the shipping process. Can I print the label on my printer? Yes. On copier paper? Sure, and then you tape it. FedEx gives you free sticky paper though, so there's no reason to use copier paper. You can get free sticky paper from FedEx, put it in your printer, and then print it right on the sticky paper. So you just take the sticker print shipping thing and stick that on your box. Then you don't have to tape it or anything like that. But can you do regular printer paper and tape it on? Yes, you're allowed to do that. I would recommend getting a thermal printer once you start actually doing this. You're going to save a lot of money by buying a thermal printer because then you're not paying for ink. You're getting your shipping labels for free from UPS. Or is it UPS? Oh, I think it is UPS that actually gives you the sticky paper as well. I might be wrong about that. It's been a long time since I got that sticky paper. What specific insurance do you need to have if applicable? If you go to selleressential.amazon.com and you go to that little search bar and you type the word insurance, that will tell you the exact kind of insurance that you need. Amazon, again, this is one of those things like instead of trying to do all this research ahead of time, just go to Amazon, read what Amazon tells you to do, and do what Amazon tells you to do. It's pretty straightforward. Just go there. A lot of people use Ashlyn Hayden. She deals with FBA insurance people. Some people use Next Insurance. That's another one I've heard a lot. But yeah, you should get insurance. Yeah, so EE distribution can say that, and Lego is requiring them to say that. Can you still use that to get ungated? Yeah, probably, because it's like that's a whole different process. Can you still probably sell that stuff? You can. I mean, you agreed not to, so you're sort of putting your EE distribution relationship at risk. Is that relationship something that you want to keep? If it is, then I probably wouldn't. If you don't care about that relationship, then it doesn't really matter, right? So it's up to you. I don't think there's necessarily a 100% right or wrong answer there. What category is good for replants? Every category is good for replants. Obviously grocery, because like it's consumable, and so people tend to rebuy it over and over. But everything, clothing, electronics, household goods, kitchen stuff, anything can be replenishable. There's no like, well, I would say grocery is the best category, but besides for groceries, like get whatever you want. Topicals, I guess, is another pretty decent one because again, it's like consumable. You would rebuy it, but yeah. You did $19,680. I would absolutely continue that because it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt. Because even if Amazon doesn't send you a 1099, should you be reporting that to your taxes? Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more complicated and more work. So it'll be easier if you cross over that 20K threshold. It's also like, I think it's $20,000, and I think the other criteria is like 10,000 units or 5,000 units. I forget exactly what maybe someone in chat knows. There's a secondary criteria where it's like, if you sell over this many specific units, then you'll also get it. But I'd prefer to get that personally because it'll make your life a little bit easier. I'm currently on your Facebook page and group. Where do I find your YouTube videos? My program is telling me that this comment is coming from YouTube. So where do you find my YouTube videos? Where you currently are is where, unless my program is telling me incorrect information about this, Yelena, but it says that you're logged into YouTube leaving this comment. So youtube.com/C, I should have a thing about this, youtube.com/C/Hustle Buddies official. Those are the 2 links for the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. All right, we'll do just a couple more. I've been here about an hour 15. I'm standing up right now. I don't have a desk here at my new house. That's why everything looks weird. I've got weird lighting, bad camera. I haven't set up stuff because we're in this new house right now fixing it up. All right, Dark Angel, do you have a video that teaches how to source? Lots and lots of videos. We've got how to source retail. We've have like behind the scenes sourcing at Walmart, behind the scenes sourcing at Walgreens, doing online arbitrage with the freeway, doing online arbitrage with tactical arbitrage. We've got so many videos that talk about sourcing. All on our YouTube channel. It charges both. There are monthly fees, there are pick and pack fees, there are shipping fees, there are lots of fees. And Amazon, spells all of this out for you. If you just go to Amazon and you look at all of the fees, there's nothing hidden. They're not like, I got you with this fee that you didn't know you had. No, Amazon tells you all the fees. You just read what the fees are. Yeah, it's super straightforward. It's when I see comments on YouTube like Amazon lies and they charge me all these fees, like they didn't lie. They told you all those fees right up front. You just had to read them. So just read about the fees and then you're good to go. Let's see. I'll do a couple more questions. What do I use for keeping track of taxes? I use two things. I use Inventory Lab, and I'll put a link for that again. I use Inventory Lab, and I use a CPA. That's all I do for business taxes. For sales taxes, I use something called Avalara, but that's sales tax, and business taxes or income taxes, entirely separate subjects. Like they're not even related. I'm assuming you're talking about like income taxes and business taxes, things like that. I wasted my free trial with Inventory Lab. Anything I can do, you can shoot them an email or you can pay for it and just use it because it's a great tool. Yeah, there's not, I would shoot them an email and say like, hey, I tried this a while ago. It didn't really work out. I was wondering if I could get another free trial. They might work with you. They might not. Most companies are like, oh, sure. Yeah, that's fine. I don't really know how they'll do it, but it's always worth an ask. Do I see YouTube comments? I'm looking at yours right now. Let's see. Several items. Tried to apply for several things. Amazon isn't accepting applications. Does it say on the item, Amazon is not accepting applications for this item? If so, then they're not accepting applications. So like if you tried, what's a good example? Levi jeans. Levi jeans, no one can sell them. You can't apply. There's no application for it. Nothing you can do. What should you do? So you skip it. You look for something else and never scan that brand again. There's so many other fish in the sea. Don't get caught up on that one fish. If it doesn't allow variations, I mean, you can just make other listings for it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a variation listing. And then oftentimes, like if you can get your variation to start selling, it'll show up in that like recommended or like similar products bars. Like if someone's looking at, I don't know, the pink rhino, it's like, oh, recommended, or what are other people buying similar to this? Oh, here's a blue rhino. Here's a green rhino. Okay, sweet. There you go. I don't know what category you're selling in, but yeah. What are my thoughts on beauty products? If they make you money, they're great. If they don't make you money, they're bad. Same as any other product. There's no like best product or best category. That is not a thing. If it makes you money, it makes you money. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's all you got to look at. I don't look at categories. I'm not like, well, today I can't look at grocery items because I gotta look at that beauty product. That's not how I source. I look at everything, and if it makes me money, great. If it doesn't, I pass. Yeah, we did a video on this as well. UPS and FedEx both have a rental program for thermal printers. It's either a couple bucks a week, or if you sweet talk them enough, you might be able to get it for free. Especially people in Canada have been having a lot of luck getting that for free. So we got a whole YouTube video about that if you're curious. If you're like just starting out and you're like, I don't have money for a Rollo printer yet or something like that, check out this. This could be an excellent option for you. Awesome. I love it. Almost missed it. Thanks for all the helpful advice. Without the group, I can't imagine where I'd be. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what I loved. That's like why we started this whole thing. We were teachers prior to being Amazon sellers. We were teachers. And so like this is my jam, guys. I love, it sounds cliche, but man, I freaking love helping people like accomplish cool things. It just ramps me up. No, those people were telling you to commit mail fraud. You should not, I guess you can, but you should not cover up any of that stuff, that free label stuff. Because everywhere else said it was bad to do. Yes, because it is bad to do, because it's you're using USPS products for not USPS purposes. So that's technically mail fraud. Are you going to go to jail for it? No. But what will most likely end up happening is USPS stop giving people free stuff, because there's a lot of eBay sellers who take advantage of it. It also looks super tacky, so you should never do that with Amazon, because it just looks tacky. The videos, oh, Yelena. Okay, yeah, so if you go to the Facebook group, and if I'm going to assume you're on a computer, right corner, there should be like a little button that says more and then media. Under media, it'll show you like all our photos, and then there's another tab for videos. You can click on videos. Or alternatively, so like let's say you're trying to look for that that tax video that we did with Not Your Dad's CPA, just go to the search bar and type Not Your Dad's CPA. Try it with spaces and then try it without any spaces. I don't remember how I titled it. And that should pull up that specific tax video in our Facebook page. Most videos are cross-posted, but that one particular one, I was looking for it the other day and I realized I hadn't ever posted it on YouTube. So that's my fault. We do pretty much everything. I mean, I don't really get into private label, but everything else we do: wholesale, online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, bundling, all that stuff. We do a little bit of everything. Best place to order boxes for FBM is the free boxes from USPS. How about not charge shipping fees and match the price for FBA? How do you not charge? So all of those questions are all answered in our FBM video. Where to get boxes, USPS. And if you're buying them, get them from like, I don't know, The Boxery or WB Mason or one of those stores like that for small boxes, or just Walmart or Staples. All that shipping fee stuff, it's all has to do with your template. And we walk through how to set that in our How to FBM video on YouTube. So check that out on our YouTube channel. Are toys still big sellers? Yeah, toys absolutely still sell, because people are spending their gift cards, or maybe they're like returning a toy that the kid didn't want to get the toy that they did want. So yeah, they absolutely sell. Are they as big? No, it's never going to be as big as Christmas time. But yeah, toys sell year round. And what about the kid who has a birthday, like January 15th? What are they going to do? Not buy a toy for a kid because it's after Christmas, kid. You can't get a toy anymore. No, people still have birthdays. There's still stuff going on. Inventory Lab, I think it's like $40 a month, maybe $50 a month. And the first 30 days is free. So you can click on that link, bit.ly/hustleil. And definitely check. Yeah, Keepa and Inventory Lab, number one and number two things. We don't push them out because I have affiliate links for them. It's like we push them out because these are the most crucial tools. And I'm like, listen, I'm telling everyone to get these tools. Can I get a link for this so that we can at least make like $2 every time someone signs up? Oh, that's funny. Birch is... Yeah, that's funny. So we've got a kid, Brian, who commented right after you. Brian is like, I think you're like 15, 16, Brian. Birch is doing this as an 11-year-old, which I love. One thing I would love to do either in 2021 or maybe 2022 is do like a kids course for Amazon. Like, here is how, because kids can absolutely do this. There's nothing about this that, I mean, besides for like account creation and business, like LLC creation, where like the stuff has to be in your parents' names. Besides for that, like legalese stuff, the actual like day-to-day operations of it, kids can absolutely do. You can absolutely like, can you, I mean, if people are cool with it, are they okay with you going to Walmart to scan stuff, or can you go with them to scan stuff? Yeah, that's a pretty simple task. Do you have a smartphone? That's really all you need for this. But that's super cool that an 11-year-old's in this. That's awesome. What percent of cash to inventory should you have? You should have, if you're growing, if you're in the growth phase, it should be like 100% or 0%, 100%. You should be spending all your money. You don't need to keep stuff on hand. When that changes is once you are at scale and like you have employees and stuff like that. Yeah, that's when it sort of changes. We're not actually moving to Indiana, so that's why I have like this weird mustache and everything. We're not moving to Indiana. We bought a house here. We have family here, so we're going to be staying here when we like visit family and all of that. It's going to be really convenient. We also do a lot of traveling, so this is sort of like a home base 2.0, but our primary residence is still going to be listed as Orlando, Florida. We still have our house down there. Denise, this is kind of a gray area. Should you? Probably. Do I know people who do? Very few. I know very, very few people who get this. Because like the insurance people, they need to ask a lot of questions and they would have to get a lot of answers from you in order to figure out you're using it. I don't know. I don't want to say definitively yes or no on this because I don't want it to come back and bite me. I will say I know very, very few people who do that. And I'll just leave it at that. How long did it take to scale this large enough? So we, brief thing about our story, if you don't know anything about us, we were teachers before. We didn't really have much money. I convinced my wife to let me use $100 and see what I could turn it into. So I just kept flipping that $100, turned it into 200, and then 400, and then 800, and then so on and so on and so on. We didn't pay ourselves for about the first, it was even a little bit over a year. I want to say like 14 months or something. I didn't pay myself a dime. And I was working like 30 hours a week on Amazon. So you're making $0 an hour for a full year. That's the sort of sacrifice that it required from us. But I mean, now like we have a 7-figure business and that's pretty cool. So for us, I quit my day job when it was literally costing me money to go to my day job, where it's like, okay, I'm making, let's say you make $20 an hour, $25 an hour at your work. It's like, man, if I spent 8 hours sourcing, I'm making $50 an hour or $100 an hour when I'm sourcing based on like all this other stuff that I'm putting together with all my research. Like I need to just quit. It doesn't make sense at the beginning because you need capital. You need to be able to flow the capital back into the business. But yeah, for us, it was like, oh, this is costing me more money to go to work than to quit. So why don't I just quit and make more money? And so that's what we did. Yeah, so this came up the other day in our Facebook group, and there's a really big misunderstanding. A lot of people were really angry at me because I think they misunderstood what I was saying. Ungating lists or like ASIN ungating lists, they're garbage. All it is, it'll have like 100 ASINs on it, and it'll be like, these ASINs might get you automatically ungated. There's nothing magical about those ASINs. If you're automatically ungated, great, but you could have typed in any ASIN for that brand and also got it automatically ungated. Like there's nothing magical about that ASIN list. What you can do instead is like, okay, do you want to be ungated in Carter's? Do you want to be ungated in, whatever other brand, like I can't think of them right now, but Samsung, Apple, Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, like just type in those brands and type in like, just press apply to all those things. There's nothing magical about an ungating list. That's completely just separate from like ungating services and things like that. That's a whole different thing because they're helping you find invoices or they're giving you information, all that stuff. But ungating lists are about like these magical, oh, you just type in this ASIN and you'll magically be ungated. That is 100% garbage. You should never pay anyone for that. You probably shouldn't even use free information for that. When I was first starting, yeah, I got like, there was like free ones. I was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. And then I started applying. And then I realized like, wait a second, I could just type in any, like, do I want Fitzer? Okay, I just type in Fitzer. Okay, here we go. Apply. Oh, ungated. Sweet. I didn't need this magical ASIN. Like every ASIN would work. It was going to get ungated in that anyways. So yeah. All right, just a couple more. We're going on like an hour and a half here. All right, so Jackie, what you need to do is check Keepa. Check Keepa. It's listed for 103. Is it selling for 103? And also double check, make sure it's not like a multi-pack or like pack of 12 or something like that. So first, check Keepa. Second, make sure that it's not like a multi-pack or double pack or anything like that. If it's not, go for it. Yeah, absolutely. There are absolutely products that are like that, that are out there. Oftentimes we will see this with discontinued stuff. So in some like long time Amazon, people who've been selling for a long time on Amazon, there are some famous items like dryer balls or certain dryer sheets that were discontinued by Bounce or Tide or whoever else. And people wanted that exact dryer ball or that exact dryer sheet. And they would pay like $100 for this one little box of dryer sheets. It was discontinued. It had been discontinued for years. But if you found it, maybe there's like a Big Lots where they had like a really old shelf. No one ever bought this. Like, oh my gosh, this is gold. Yeah, you absolutely could buy it for $3 and sell it for $103. And it would sell very, very quickly because people just absolutely loved that. I don't know why, but they did. So double check Keepa. Yeah, Logan, one of the issues that happened was like the specific ASINs we were trying to share kept changing. Amazon kept changing what brands and what categories and things like that stuff was gated in. So we actually, I don't know which one you used. There was 3 or 4 different iterations where like I would go through and I would delete everything that I wrote and I rewrote the whole guide because like the old stuff had been changed and wasn't even gated in anything. It's like, what the heck? Why did Amazon change all that? And then so I made new things and then like 50 people got ungated and then the next 20 people were like, hey, this didn't work. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to go back there. I updated it all again. So I tried to make it very apparent, like this is an example, this might work, but you should really find your own and double check that it is in fact gated in the things that you want. Because if it's not gated in something, you probably can't use the invoice to get ungated in it. That just doesn't make sense. Replan workshop, A+. I passed the test and still getting a reward for it. Awesome. Love to hear it. Someone else is talking about politics here. It's an interesting time to bring in politics. Any specific for someone starting? Same as any other time. Go out, scan stuff, find profit, sell it. That's my tips for Q1. Same tips for Q2, Q3, and Q4. Find stuff that's profitable, buy it, and sell it. Just make sure that it's actually selling. Check Keepa to double check all that, but make sure it's selling. If you do, go for it. What do I do for health insurance? We use a health share plan. We used to use one called Liberty Health Share. We changed. I don't remember who my wife uses now. She deals with all that. I don't remember what they're called, but those health share plans are pretty good. Yeah, your sole proprietor is an official business. Yeah, just because you're not an LLC doesn't mean you're not an official business. Your sole proprietor can have an EIN. You can have a tax exempt number. You will need your tax exempt number and your EIN, but you can get all that as a sole proprietor. All right, we're coming here to the end. All right, yep, I think that's about it. Those are great questions, guys. I'm gonna call it there because it has been a long evening. Couple last words. One, the Replan workshop, it's currently discounted like a crazy amount. It's like 70% off right now. So if you're interested in that, get it before January 1st. And then if you want to see me rocking this mustache in some funny 70s photos and you want to follow my wife's new Instagram, we'll be doing like YouTube videos and stuff on a new channel about our like financial independence journey and redoing a really cool house and all that stuff. Follow her on Instagram. All right, with that, we're going to call it a night. We will see you guys later. Hustle on, everybody.